ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome all of you in today's session. I was traveling from a place, and that's why I couldn't actually start the session in time. So, I had to delay it by half an hour. So, all right. So, now we continue our discussion. So, we are studying from 10th Canto, chapter 1st, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. So, in this, we have seen till text 14 till now. So, especially in the last session, we completed the section of Parikshit Maharaj's 4 questions that he asked in verses starting from verse 8. So, he also expressed that how he wants to hear everything that has been inquired and also which is not inquired. If Shukdev Goswami were to say that, let's take some pause, let's take some break, because you must be very tired because of thirst and hunger. So then Parikshit also expressed his great eagerness by saying that, Naishati dussaha kshunmam tyaptodamapi badhate pibantam tvan mukham bhoja chutam harikathamritam. That these hunger and thirst, they are not at all troubling me. Uh, in fact, I am drinking nectar from your lotus mouth. So that's why I feel that I am not troubled by hunger and thirst. Otherwise, they are ati dussaha. They are very, very difficult to control. So you must continue speaking. Uh, if you continue speaking, then I will not be bothered by this hunger and thirst at all. Hmm. So in this way, Parikshit expressed his great desires, great desire. He expressed his great emotions, appreciation for Krishna Katha, and then specific inquiries also he made. So this way, all these words of Parikshit were very glorious, very wonderful, very sweet. So that's why this sweet speech, Sadhuvada. mm, So this was appreciated by Shukadev Goswami also, Vaiyasaki. So that's text 14. We have seen these verses. I'm just giving a summary. So he appreciated these words of Srila Parikshit Maharaj, mm, and then congratulating him, appreciating his words, he began to speak about Sri Krishna Charitra. Krishna Charitam Kali Kalma Shaghnam Vyahartum Arabhata Bhagavat Pradhana. He began speaking. So we saw this verse also in the last session. Very beautiful verse. So let us hear Srila Shukdev Goswami's Pratyarchanam, that congratulation or appreciation for the words of Parikshit Maharaj. So this will be described in 2 verses, 15 and 16, and then from verse 17 onwards, Krishna Janma Prasanga, Bhagavad Avatar Katha, and the context of Krishna's appearance will be spoken in 9 verses. So 2 more verses, we hear Shukadeva's appreciation for Parikshit's words, and then 9 verses will describe the specific position of earth when Lord Krishna was requested to appear. So, all right. Just give me a minute. Okay, so text 15 now. Sri Shuka's Tatyarchanam, appreciation of congratulation of the words of Shri Parikshit Maharaj. Shri Shuka Uvacha Samyak Vyavasita Buddhis Tava Rajarshi Sattama Vasudeva Kathayante Yajjata Naishthiki Ratihi. Sudhanshu Prabhu, do you want to read? Sudhanshu Dikshit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Srila Sukadeva Goswami said,
Just a minute, Prabhu. Probably in the PPT it is not visible clearly, so you can read from Vedabase. Yeah.
Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, O your majesty, best of all saintly kings, because you are greatly attracted to topics of Vasudev, it is certain that your intelligence is firmly fixed in spiritual understanding, which is the only true goal for humanity, because that attraction is unceasing. It is certainly sublime.
Thank you, Prabhu. So text 15, Shri Shuka Uvacha, Shri Shukadev Goswami spoke. Samyak Vyavasita Buddhihi Tava Rajarshi Sattama. O Rajarshi Sattama, Rajarshi Sattama. Sattama, you understand, Tama is superlative. Taratama Bhava. In Sanskrit, when you have these words like Tara or Tama attached to something, then they have the sense of comparative or superlative uh, degrees. Sat, Sattara, Sattama. So Sattama, the best of the saintly people. Sattama, Rajarshi Sattama. In fact, the best of the Rajarshis and saintly persons. Meaning he is not only Rajarshi, Rajarshi itself is carrying the sense of somebody who is a Raja and Rishi, right? Rajarshi. But Sat is also there added, so which shows that he is a very saintly person, especially the devotee. Uh, Sometimes a Rajarshi, that person may be a great Rishi, but is he a devotee? Is he a Bhagavata, Mahabhagavata? Sattama is carrying that sense of he being a best of the Mahabhagavats, the best of the devotees. So that's how Rajarshi Sattama. So Shukadev says, Tava buddhi samyak vyavasita. What you have decided, what you have inquired, that is showing his consciousness, isn't it? That is showing his resolve, his intelligence. So he is saying, actually, your intelligence is very wonderfully resolute. What you have expressed uh, through verses such as Nivrutta Tarshaya Rupaki Yamanat, and also your inquiries show that you are completely resolved. You have a great, great resolve in absorbing yourself in Krishna, Krishna consciousness. So this intelligence of your Tava Buddhi, Samyak Vyavasita, it is very nicely, very perfectly, it is focused, it is resolute, it is determined. And it is determined, Vyavasita, single-minded, focused in what? Vasudeva Katha, Vasudeva Katha, the glories of Lord Vasudeva. And that's why Yajjata Naishtiki Ratihi. In fact, you have got Naishtiki Rati. You have got great, steadfast attachment for Vasudeva Katha. That's why your intelligence is showing that from the words that you have spoken and the inquiries that you have made. So wonderful. Uh, Naishtiki Rati. Naishtiki Rati has been equated to prema over here by acharyas. It is not attachment at the level of nishtha or something. It is much more than that. It is actually prema. It is complete attachment to Krishna, right? That attachment is just complete attachment. It is steadfast. It is once somebody develops that attachment, so that attachment, we see that the level of prema is perfect. It is sublime. So this is it. Shukdev Goswami is saying, because you are greatly attracted to topics of Vasudeva, it is certain that your intelligence is firmly fixed in spiritual understanding, which is the only true goal for humanity. Because that attraction is unceasing, naishtiki, it is certainly sublime that way. So, why do you say that my intelligence is resolute? It is perfectly determined and resolute because I see that your attachment for Vasudev Katha is extremely, it's a very great attachment. It is Nashtiki Rati, it is unceasingly sublime attachment. And that's why I say that your intelligence is perfectly placed, it is perfectly resolute, right? It's not like after hearing sometime, he's thinking, okay, now let's hear some other topics. Probably I should hear something about Karma Kand, or I should hear something about yoga, jnana. No, right from beginning, he has been very focused on Vasudev Katha, right? In the beginning itself, actually. When Shukdev arrives, this is in the first canto. Some of you must remember this, that in the first canto itself, uh, when Shukdev arrived on the scene, Parikshit expressed his gratitude and said that, I see that you have been sent by Krishna himself for my deliverance. This is actually Krishna's love being expressed. You arrived here, I don't see anything, but I see it is as Krishna's love. Uh, Otherwise, Shukdev was not a person who spent time with the householders or like that, right? In fact, he didn't spend time with anyone. He would always be absorbed in his own meditation. After hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadev, then he started loving the association of Vaishnavas. Nityam Vishnu Jana Priyaha. Sadhyagat Mahadakhyanam Nityam Vishnu Jana Priyaha. He became Vishnu Jana Priyaha. He became dear to the Vishnu Janas, devotees, and the devotees became dear to him. So that Shukadev, when he came there on when Parikshit had retired to the bank of the Ganges and was, looking that someone will enlighten him in what is his duty. So Shukdev, when he arrived there, Parikshit saw it as completely Krishna's mercy. So he expressed that. So it is his resolve is very clear that he always had that attachment to Krishna. He wanted to hear that. That's what he wanted basically. That let me absorb myself completely in Krishna Katha. So this was Shukdev's resolve even before he met the sages. As soon as he heard the curse, this is what he thought. Chapter 18th of first canto explains this. Uh, so that's why Shukdev is appreciating that resolve. It is samyak. I see that all these days you are constantly uh, showing that great focus on Krishna and Krishna's glories, Vasudeva Katha. this way. Sanatan Goswami. The word Sri Shukaha is used because of his sweeter than sweet parrot-like speech due to the rise of an abundance of prema. Huh? So actually, Shri Shukaha Uvacha, it is said there, right? It is in one way redundant, isn't it? It is repetition. Why? Because the verse before said that, Vyahartum Arabhata, Shukdev began to speak. So then why you have to say again Shri Shuka Uvacha? Huh? You understand this? If the verse 14th had said, Vyahartumarabhata, and thus Sri Shukadev began to speak, Vayyasakihi, isn't it? Vyahartumarabhata. So then again Sri Shuka Uvacha. So it's in a way redundant. But that redundancy, Sanatan Goswami says that it is because of that rise of prema that has come while describing this by Srila Sutta Goswami, Sri Shuka Uvacha. So Shuka is a very, very sweet, he speaks very sweet Krishna Katha. In fact, he used to, his speech was very, very sweet. So, for instance, in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, there is a statement of Sri Krishna to Vyasa. So, you remember, I mentioned this story in the last session also, probably, that Shukadev was born to Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva's wife, Vitika. She held the child in her womb for uh, 12 years, as per Brahma Vaivarta Puran. And then after 12 years, Shukadev, he came out of the mother's womb. His condition was that I would come out of mother's womb only if, Mayadhish, one who is master of Maya, he promises that I will not fall in Maya. Hmm. So Vyasdev said, well, I promise you. So he said, no, you don't promise. You are yourself a grahastha. You don't promise me. You bring the master of Maya. Of course, someone can say Vyasadeva is himself Lord, right? Narayana. Uh, Vidhi Narayanam Devam. Vyas is also Lord Narayana. But the point is, Shukdev there, he wanted especially Lord Krishna to come and promise him. So Shukdev, he had Vyasadev bring Lord Krishna from Dwaraka. And then Lord Krishna came and spoke to the child in the womb. Uh, he addressed the womb, meaning the child in the womb, Shuka. That time he was not named as Shuka. That, yes, I promise you that you will not fall in Maya. Please come out of mother's womb. Don't trouble her. So then Shukadev came out of the womb. And he offered very beautiful prayers to Sri Krishna. So that is the time when Sri Krishna gave him the name Shuka. So this verse is quoted by Sanatan here. Vyasatvadiyatanayaha Shukavan manojnyam brute vacho bhavatu tat shuka eva namna. Vyasatvadiyatanayaha Shukavan manojnyam brute vacho bhavatu tat shuka eva namna. So Vyasa, oh Sri Vyasa, Tvadiya Tanaya, your son, Shukavat, he, Brute, he speaks like a parrot, Shukavat. Manojnyam, this should be Manojnyam, there is some type of. Manojnyam, meaning he speaks very delightful words, the words which are very pleasing to the mind, pleasing to hear. Charming words, Manojnyam Brute. So that's why Bhavatu Tat Shuka Eva Namna. So that's why let his name be Shuka. He should only be called Shuka. So in this way, that's why Sri Shuka Uvacha. So the specific sense with which he is describing, Sutta is describing this particular, or you can say it is Vyasadeva Sangati verse also. You can connect it that way also. So whatever the Sri Shuka usage there, that is actually by with this particular import in the mind, uh, that here that Shuka who had such a sweet speech, he spoke like that. That's the sense. So Shukadev Goswami, in this way, he was a very, very sweet speaker already. What to speak of he speaking on Bhagavatam like that. So Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the story of Shuka's appearance. So sometimes there is this idea that Shukadev is parrot of Radharani. But this particular idea, as far as we have seen in Shastra, it is not spoken by anyone. This idea is not mentioned anywhere that Shuka is parrot of Srimati Radharani. So the story in Brahma Vaivarta book begins directly from the Vyasa's wife becoming pregnant because of Vyasa, and then the child was not coming out of the womb for 12 years or so, like that. That's how the story begins. So there are two more Shukadevas that Srila Jiva Goswami speaks about. What happened was when Shukadev Goswami was going away after Lord Krishna, I mean, after Lord Krishna's intervention, then Shuka came out of mother's womb and then he spoke, offered his obeisances to Shri Vyasdev and Shri Krishna, and then he immediately left actually. Left for the forest. He did not wait. So Vyasdev was calling out to him, Putra, Putra, but then he did not wait. So, such was the grief of Vyasadeva, the separation that he was feeling from Shuka. So, as per Srila Sridhar Swami, that what happened was Srila Shukadev created one Chaya Shuka, one shadow Shuka, Chaya Shuka. Prabhupada calls him duplicate Shuka. Duplicate Shuka in the ninth canto, Prabhupada says. So, this Shukadev, Chaya Shuka, was created by Sri uh, Sri Shuka himself, original Shuka. And then this Chaya Shuka was given by original Shuka that he can stay with Vyasadeva and enter Grahasthashram and have progeny and like that. So it seems that this Shuka then later went with Vyasadeva and then he stayed at the Vyasadeva's house. And then he also got married and he had progeny. So his daughter is mentioned in ninth canto, Shuka Kanya. She is mentioned. So obviously she is not daughter of the Bhagavatam speaker Shuka because he never got married only. He was always an Aishtika. Uh, so this daughter is of that Chaya Shuka. So this is another Shuka, second Shuka, you can say. And there is one more Shuka who is spoken also in Mahabharata. This Shukdev is also son of Vyasadeva, but he was born when Vyasadeva's vital energy it fell on Arani. Arani sticks, the sticks with which you light up fire for the yajna, Arani. So that's why he's known as Arani Suta. Arani Suta Shuka. And this is that famous Shuka who went to Janaka, and Janaka tested his sense control by in so many ways. So this Shuka also, because he was born from Arani, so Shilajit Goswami says that this is a Shuka from some other Kalpa. This is not the Shukadev Goswami who is speaker of the Bhagavatam. So in this way we hear about three different Shukas. And the one who is speaker of Bhagavatam, his story is from Brahmavaivarta Purana. He was the one who was given his name as Shuka by Lord himself. Like that. So just a minute. Okay. So that's how. All right. So Sri Shuka in a conversation, rasa manifests only when the speaker and the hearer please one another. So Sanatana Goswami gives a very important principle he says that there is rasa, uh, the prakritya of rasa, rasa's manifestation, only when speaker and hearer they have a very pleasing relationship, right? If it is a bitter relationship or if it is a relationship of indifference, see, by relationship, we are not speaking about the idea that okay, every person in the audience knows the speaker personally and has personal association or something. No, the idea is more in terms of only that conversation or that katha that is happening. So that is pleasing. I mean, the whole attitude is of being very grateful to each other. And that's why there is this attitude of pleasing one another by appreciation or by expression of gratitude, by making very sublime inquiries and by eagerness to hear, by attention to hear, right? All these are submission to hear, sushrushu. These are the typical words that describe an audience, right? Shushrushu, shraddadhananam, like that. So there is a great faith, submission, and eagerness to hear also. Similarly, the speaker typically the words that would describe would talk about the knowledge of the speaker and the purity of the speaker, also the eagerness of the speaker to share, the compassion of the speaker. So each one of you, you may be audience in some places, you may be a speaker in some places, right? So it's very important that we have the right attitude, whether we are audience or we are speaker. We are both in so many avenues of Krishna consciousness. So that's why, out of affection for the king, in two verses he expresses his approval of his questions. Shukadev himself is expressing his affection, appreciation for Parikshit, and approval of Parikshit's questions. So even Shukadev is reciprocating in that manner. Uh, just as Parikshit is describing his great gratitude, similarly Shukdev is also describing his approval and his affection for the king. So this is an ideal audience for a very nourishing and nectarian kind of Krishna Katha. In today's day and time, we see Prabhupada would also often point out this idea amongst the professional reciters, right? You know, the professional reciters, many oftentimes they are just driven by that motivation for the money, right? They're going to get huge money by that Bhagavat Katha. And then the audience is also, some sort of probably entertainment they're looking for, or some sort of piety. Okay, if I hear some Katha, I will have some auspiciousness in my life. So that's not a very ideal kind of scenario. Of course, any kind of Bhagavad Katha is, you can say, it should be appreciated rather than being atheistic or rather than being anti-religious. So even a professional reciter is better from that sense. Uh, if he's not a Mayavadi, of course. A Mayavadi is very deadly. One should not hear from such a person at all. Sarpochishtam yathapaya, like that. But the point is, yes, it's a very profound point of having a very affectionate kind of gratitude towards the speaker or the speaker having towards the audience. If there is bitterness between them, then there is no transformation of anyone. It will not be that beneficial, right? So these are dynamics pertaining to a spiritual discourse. Samyak vyavasita means samyak nishchaya, properly resolute. Shri Parikshit has an eminent attachment. Ratihi, Naishtiki Rati, right? So, how does Sanatan Goswami translate that Rati? Prityutkarshaha. Priti Utkarshaha. Prityutkarshaha. He has translated it as meaning it is the super excellent Priti. It is super excellent Priti. Utkarsha is excellence, highest. So it's highest Priti. Actually, it is prema, you can understand, Rati. The word Rati is also used for the bhava. You are aware of it, Jata Rati. So it's also used for bhava. So here, it basically means that which has reached its highest stage. So that Rati is Naishtiki Rati, which means Param Kashtham Prapta. Kashtha is the limit. So that which has attained its highest limit, Paramakashtham Prapta, that which has attained the highest limit, highest threshold. Uh, so what is that? That is prema. Prityutkarshaha. So I say your intelligence is perfectly, properly resolute because I see that your attachment to Krishna, it is sublime, it is complete, consummate. Your attachment is consummate. Param Kashtham Prapta. For hearing a discourse about Vasudeva, Vasudeva Kathayam. He took birth from Vasudeva to manifest all Aishwarya. Vasudeva, Vasudeva Katha. So Vasudeva's son who is manifesting all the Aishwarya. With this intention, he addresses him. Shukadeva addresses Parikshit. O you who are the best devotee among Rajarshis such as Bharata. Rajarshi Sattama. You are the best amongst even the Rajarshis. Best devotee among the Rajarshis, in fact. Rajarshi Sattama. So there may be many Rajarshis, right? But then you are the best devotee amongst even Rajarshis. Rajarshi Sattama. Rajarshayah Bharatadhyaha Teshu Sattama. The Rajarshis like Bharat, etc. And amongst them you are the best devotee. It is like Muni Sattama, right? Parikshit also addressed Shukdev as Muni Sattama. Amongst the Munis, you are the best devotee. You are the greatest devotee. Like that. Although in truth, the vocatives for the king in various places are uttered to make him pay attention. Sometimes you may wonder, no? All these addresses or vocatives, sambodhanas in Sanskritam. So these sambodhanas come like Muni Sattama, Rajarshi Sattama, all such words come, no? Vocatives. So they are uttered to make him pay attention. Already he's paying attention, but even making him more alert. So Rajan, even that is an vocative. That is a vocative. Rajan or Rajarshi Sattama, Bharata or like that. So why is that you have to make him pay attention? He's already alert. Since he is becoming bewitched by prema, by the discourse about the Lord. Because he would get bewitched. He would become, you can say, swooned in the ecstasy, bewitched by the ecstasy, intoxicated by that ecstasy. So then those emotions would start flooding in his heart. So then Shukdev, he would make him alert again by Rajan, and then he would be again listening. So Parikshit's hearing is not just hearing, no? It is hearing with like great emotions. So Parikshit experiences fear, Parikshit experiences concern, Parikshit experiences krodha, anger also, astonishment also, while hearing Leelas, I am saying. While hearing these pastimes from Shukadev, both of them, they are undergoing this panorama of emotions, like that. So that's how. So Sanatana Goswami says that primarily, in order to bring him back from that bewitchment that is caused, Srila Shukdev would address him with certain vocatives, but still out of affection for Vaishnavas, some special meanings are explained here and there. So he says that sometimes he is conjecturing on the meanings of those vocatives. Primary purpose of vocatives would be to uh, bring Parikshit out of that bewitching that he is experiencing uh, from the emotions caused by Shukdeva's description. So primary purpose is that, but still sometimes in order to give different insights into the meanings of these words, Sanatan Goswami gives some very beautiful meanings. Uh, Vishwanath Chakravarti, with the vocative Rajarshi Sattama, O best devotee among philosopher kings, Rajarshi, Shukdev lets him know, O giver of great respect, uh, Bhurimanada, I think that's the word, Mahamanada, that's the word, Mahamanada. Uh, you are giving so much respect to me. You are yourself so exalted, but you are Mahamanada. You are giving so much respect to me. Uh, Compared to me also, whom you have addressed as Muni Sattama, one who is the greatest devotee amongst the Munis. Being a king is an additional aspect in you, but what to speak about you? I mean, you are Rajarshi Sattama. I am just Muni Sattama. That's what you said, right? You are the best of the Muni and devotees. But you are not only, a devotee and a Muni that is being shown from the Rishi, but you also are a Raja. Uh, You understand? The two words have some additional sense in Rajarshi Sattama. Muni Sattama means what? Muni and Sat. Tama is anyway superlative, right? So Muni has that philosopher, that aspect. And Sat has the aspect of a devotee. So you are the topmost among the philosophers and devotees, right? That would be the meaning of Muni Sattama. But Rajarshi Sattama is what? You see, three things are there: Raja, Rishi, and Sat. Raja, you are a king. Rishi is almost like Muni, right? Nasa Rishir Yasya Matam Na Bhinnam. Mahabharata says that person is not a Rishi. Yasya Matam Na Bhinnam. That his opinion, if he does not have a unique and different opinion, he is not considered a Rishi. So sense is something like Muni also, similar actually. And Sat is also equivalent. So then you see you have three attributes. I have only two attributes. You have all the three attributes, or you have additional attribute of being a king. So that's how Vishwanath Chakravarti has analyzed. Rajarshi Sattama is a greater title than Muni Sattama. This is how Shukdev is glorifying him. Hmm. Finally, as a pun, as a shlesha, in Sanskrita, shlesha, that's one of the figures of speech, shlesha alankar. So when something is used with multiple meanings, that is called shlesha, pun, like that. So by the rule regarding words such as Rajadanta, main tooth, incisor, Shukdev throws in this meaning. You are the best among sages and topmost transcendentalist, Rajarshi Sattama, only because you are dearest to Sri Krishna. Okay. So here is something. Rajadanta. If you see this word in Sanskrit, Rajadanta, it can mean two things. Dantanam Raja va Radnyaha Dantaha, right? It can mean that it is the tooth of a king, uh, or it can mean Dantanam Raja, the king of the teeth. You understand? Both ways it can mean Raja Danta. मतलब भाई दांतों का राजा. तो Rajadanta, eight teeth are called as Rajadantas. On the top, apart from the fangs, those canine teeth you leave. So there are four teeth on the top and then four below. They're called as incisors or the Rajadantas, main teeth, right? So at least in Sanskrit, they are called Rajadantas. So these are like main two. So that is one meaning. Or you can also mean that king's teeth, Rajadant, king's teeth, or the king of the teeth, uh, like that. So both the meanings can be there. So similarly, Rajarshi Saptama, it can mean that one who is the best of all the Rajarshis, amongst the sages and topmost transcendentalists. You are the one who is the best, like that. Or it can mean the prior meaning also, uh, that, oh, best devotee amongst philosophers, kings, or the other way around also, which is the sages and topmost transcendent. So basically, it is like this Rajarshi Saptama. You could say that he is the topmost amongst the Rajarshis as the devotees, as a devotee. He is best among the Rajarshis. Or if you combine all of them, the devotees, Rajarshis, and everyone, then he is topmost among them. He is the best among them also. With all three attributes, he is the best. Uh, so anyway, it's a glorification. That is the point. So, as the best of topmost transcendentalists, Sattama and Rajarshi Sattama and then Sattama also, as a result of which, as the best of topmost transcendentalists, you nullified the power of Brahmastra at the time of your birth. And as the best of sages, you will render ineffective the power of the Brahmana's curse at the time of your death. So, you being the best of Rajarshis, you have shown that you nullified the power of Brahmastra at the time of your birth. And now you will also nullify another Brahmastra at the time of your death. So, that shows your nature of you being the Sattama, you being the best of the saintly sages or the devotees, like that. So his point is what? Two different features. One feature is that you have conquered Brahmastra when you were in the mother's womb. So that has that aspect of you. You must be knowing also in the first canto, it is Parikshit has been mentioned as Veera. So he was not at all fearful of that Brahmastra there also. He was not fearful, although he was burnt by Brahmastra, but he was not fearful himself. So it shows that aspect of as a Rajarshi, he was saved by the Lord and was not fearful also of that Brahmastra. So that aspect is highlighted. While the aspect of Sat is being highlighted in the sense that he will again conquer the Brahmastra, but this time Brahmastra is Brahmana's curse. Uh, so that Brahmana's curse is being conquered by him at the time of death. So he is conquering twice Brahmastra. One is the actual Brahmastra, and second is the curse of Brahmana, Brahmastra in that sense. So he's conquered, he's going to conquer it at both the times. So that is a Rajarshi Saptama, like that. Okay, so Prabhupada. Krishna Katha is compulsory for the Rajarshi or executive head of government. Krishna Katha must be understood by the executive heads of government, for otherwise, how will people be happy and gain relief from the pangs of materialistic life? So, especially as a Rajarshi, Prabhupada would always bring up this point, right? The government heads and all, they should also be spiritual minded, best is devotees, in fact. There is this famous proposal that Prabhupada gave to Indira Gandhi, right? Where you talked about how all the MPs, members of parliament should be initiated devotees. They should chant 16 rounds. Prabhupada said, I think, chant 16 rounds and follow 482 principles. I'm not sure whether they will, or probably he spoke also about initiation. And then they should begin with Bhagavatam, discussing some principle from Bhagavatam, like that. So these ideas may sometimes appear very what you can say, very difficult to accomplish. But the point is, yeah, that was the Vedic life. That's how the kings were there, right? Even before some years, when the royal regimes were there, many kings were like this. Krishna Katha, uh, they would always begin by hearing Krishna Katha and follow principles of Vaishnava Dharma or Bhagavad Dharma, like that. Maharaj Parikshit was Rajarshi Saptama, the best of all saintly kings, and Shukdev Goswami was Muni Saptama, the best of Munis. Both of them were elevated because of their common interest in Krishna Katha. The exalted position of the speaker and the audience will be explained very nicely in the next verse. Like that. So this is the point he's speaking about. The both of them have that similar quality. Muni Sattama and Rajarshi Sattama, like that. Okay. One more verse in which Shukdev glorifies the words of Sri Parikshit Maharaj, his questions. In fact, he's glorifying his questions now. And your questions are so wonderful. Vasudeva Katha Prashnaha Purusham Strin Punatihi Vaktaram Prachakam Shrotrins Tatpada Salilam Yatha. Okay. So Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, you want to read? Sanatan Govind Prabhu, I'm sorry.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Yeah, you can see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu. The Ganges emanating from the toe of Lord Vishnu purifies the three worlds, the upper, the middle, and lower planetary systems. Similarly, when one asks questions about the pastimes and characteristics of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, three varieties of men are purified: the speaker or preacher, he who inquires, and the people in general who listen. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. See, you can see he is glorifying the questions themselves. He's glorifying the quality of the question pertaining to Krishna. Vasudeva Katha Prashnaha Punati. The Prashna, the question pertaining to Vasudev Katha, pertaining to Krishna's glory, it purifies Punati. Okay, whom does it purify? Trin Purushan Punati. It purifies three kinds of men, three kinds of persons, men, women. Vasudev Katha Prashnaha, Trin Purushan Punati. It purifies three kinds of persons, three categories of persons. He, very certainly, indeed. Who are those three categories? Vaktaram, the speaker. Prachakam, the enquirer, one who is asking questions. Shrotrin, and the hearers, the audience, those who are around hearing that. And then one drishtanta has been provided. Yatha tatpada salilam, just as tasya pada salilam, the water that has washed the lotus feet of Krishna, or Shaligram. So this could refer to Sri Krishna's Charanamrita, or the water that has washed Shaligram. Shaligram is non different than Krishna, of course. So Shaligram Charanamrita, or deity Charanamrita. Or third meaning can be Ganges also, right? Because Mother Ganges is also Vishnupadi. She is also Charanamrita of the Supreme Lord, right? So just as these waters like Shaligram Charanamrita, Bhagavad Charanamrita, Ganges water, how it purifies all the three categories of people. Similarly, the Ganges, or similarly purifying the question regarding Krishna, it purifies three categories of people: speaker, the one who is inquiring, that person, and also those who are audience. So everybody is benefited. Everybody is purified like that. So that's how. So the Ganges emanating from toe of Lord Vishnu, Vishnupadi, Ganga, she purifies upper planets, lower planets, and also the middle planets, right? Ganges flows all the way. Ganges flows in the upper planets, Swargiya planets, also middle and also below. Bhur Bhuva Swaha, isn't it? So she purifies all in all these different ways, right? So Mandakini and Jahnavi here, and then Bhogavati like that. So and she has different names in three planets. So three planetary systems. So similarly, even the water of Charnamrit, the Charnamrit I'm saying, or we can see that especially the water of mm, Shaligram. So we see that Shaligram water, it is sprinkled on the head, uh, or even the normal Charnamrit is sprinkled on head, right? So when it is sprinkled on the head, so it purifies the sprinkler, one who is sprinkling it on the other, one who is receiving it, and also somebody who is nearby standing. It is amazing, no? Even the person who is in vicinity, even such a person becomes uh, purified. He also gets benefit. So that's how the comparison is being made. So similarly, Krishna Katha also, it purifies all three people. So sometimes we may not be asking a question also. We may be only audience, and we may wonder, okay, audience is getting, I mean, speaker is obviously getting benefited, and one who is inquiring is getting benefited also. What about me? No, actually, everyone is getting benefited. It is quite obvious also, right? Because that wisdom, that knowledge will be useful for us also. But sometimes, even if a specific inquiry may appear that, okay, it is not so much relevant to me, but even in that case, you can see only the question itself is being said to be purifying. What to speak of its answer? The question itself and purifying to all three people. So, some question we may feel like it's not relevant for me that way. And it is okay in the interest of time, probably, if you don't have much time. So, you may want to only listen to those inquiries which are relevant for you. Uh, but especially, the point is that Krishna Katha is always purifying. It will certainly take away our desires to enjoy. And that's purification, right? Purification is what? Transforming our desires from desire to enjoy to desire to serve. So that effect will happen, that effect will come. So that's why one can be enthusiastic to hear even others' inquiries sometimes. Sometimes we may not get questions also. If we don't have that kind of thinking process, we may not get questions also. But we may be happy to hear others' questions and the discussion that follows, the answers that follow. So that is also very nice if you relish others' questions also. And what to speak of if we ourselves relish asking questions and thinking about the subject matter and come up with very good questions. Sometimes some devotees ask very beautiful questions by which everybody is benefited. These are like they can bring out very profound discussions. So it's very nice, isn't it? Chief Goswami, indeed, he nishchitam, certainly, indeed. Even a question about a discourse based on Vasudeva, Vasudev Katha Prashnaha, meaning Tannishthartha Katha Prashnopi. Uh, Tannishthartha, something which is based upon, which is connected to, which is rooted in Sri Krishna's Katha. Tannishthartha Katha. Uh, Nishtha is in the sense of something which is rooted in him, something which is connected to him. Uh, so such prashna, such question also, the question itself purifies the three kinds of people. Trividhan, Trividhan Purushan Punati. It purifies the inquirer and everyone. Vishwan Chakravarti says, his foot water, tatpada salilam, that's the translation. His foot water, tatpada salilam, denotes that the Charnamrit of Shalagram Shila and so on. It purifies three kinds of persons. The one sprinkling the Charnamrit onto another person, the person being sprinkled upon, and those who are near them. So that's how. The near them, those, see, one who is sprinkling on someone else, so that person, and one on whom the sprinkling of Charnamrit is happening, on whose head. So near somebody who is in even sitting or standing next to that person, meaning even if that person is himself not getting Charnamrit on his head, even such a person who is in the vicinity like that, even such a person, it's not so much that, okay, you are sitting in the next to a person on whom it is being sprinkled, so you will also get it. No, then you will be also the second category, no? You will be also Sichamana, right? So Sichamana is the second category. Sektara, Sektaram, Sichamanam, and those who are standing next to them, they may not get also that, but still they are benefited just by being vicinity, in the vicinity. So similarly, this is the point. Or else Tatpada Salilam signifies the Ganges river. As the Ganges purifies the three worlds, the upper, the intermediate, and the lower planetary systems, so an enquiry that relates to Vasudev Katha purifies three kinds of persons, beginning from the narrator. So, similarly, Ganges also purifies all three worlds. Bhurbhuvasvaha. Similarly, Krishna Katha, the question about Krishna Katha, then you can imagine what to speak of. The answer, the discussion, further discussions on that. That way. In fact, Vishwanath Chakravarti has something more to say. He says in the enumeration, in the enlisting, it is mentioned Vaktaram Prachakram Shrotrin. So first is narrator, then it is put as Prachakam, inquirer, and finally the listeners. So he says, amongst the three, the superiority is understood to be sequentially decreasing. That's the superiority. The narrator, he is the one who is explaining the katha. So naturally, that position is considered to be superior to the one who is asking question, inquirer. And finally, those who are listening, listeners, this way. See, this could also have a meaning that Yathottaram Shraishtyam, it could also mean that the narrator is most purified and the inquirer is next purified and the listeners are the last ones to get purified. So this is also like one way it could be understood, or it could just mean that three of them, in terms of importance, they have been placed like that. Of course, when we say this, the thrust of the verse is actually more about everyone is purified, all three of them, and not so much that there is degree of purification. But Vishwanath Chakravarti is also seems to be explaining in that way. Sanatan Goswami and Jiva Goswami, they talk about, okay, because the enquiry is first, so they say that the enquirer is the first one to get purified. So they are talking only in terms of the order there. They're not talking about the extent to which purification is occurring, but they say because enquirer is the first person who is becoming the cause of all discussion, so he is purified first. And it is mentioned that the narrator is certainly, because narrator is explaining the whole katha, is giving faith to the people, is nourishing them, and also finally the listeners. So Srila Jiva Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they talk more from the order aspect, that who is becoming the source of this whole purification program. purification enterprise. So by inquiry it begins, no? So inquirer should be thanked first. Then the narrator should be thanked because he is the one who is not letting that inquiry just confuse people, but rather is giving faith to the people by giving the answer. And then listeners, because they are staying there to hear, right? They are not going away. They are eagerly hearing that and feeling benefited that way. So that's how, like that. So we don't have to so much worry about who gets purification, but it appears quite logical, right? Because if the speaker is going to give so much of nourishment to the people, so naturally Krishna will be very pleased with him. But it all depends on attitude also afterwards, right? If the speaker does not have a good attitude, he thinks that, like Prabhupada would say, professional speakers also are there. Or even if speaker is proud, thinking that I am so learned, or these are all fools, they don't know anything, I am the learned one. Or proud of anything for that matter, then what purification will occur for him? The audience may get actually much more purified and they may go to Krishna, they may go very near to Krishna, but the speaker may be himself. Right? Even in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Devanand Pandit is speaking Krishna Katha and Srivas is crying tears. Isn't it amazing? Devanand Pandit spoke Bhagavatam, Mahaprabhu says, where he could not give, he spoke entire Bhagavatam without giving any sort of devotional explanation or like that. So, hearing Srivas is getting in so much ecstasy that he's crying tears, and then he was considered a nuisance, like that. So, that's how it is. So, you see, the speaker, the audience is more exalted than the speaker, isn't it? What an effect. Even this story is there also with Roop Kaviraj, I think, right? Roop Kaviraj was, Srimati Janava Devi was there in the, no, not Janava, Ganga Mata Goswamini, I think. She was there in the audience of Roop Kaviraj. And he was speaking Krishna Katha, and Ganga Mata was feeling such great ecstasy. If I am not wrong, this is it, how it is. And, he himself was not actually that exalted as Mother Ganga Mata Goswami. So sometimes we may see that kind of thing also. So attitude matters. So finally, purification is going to occur on the attitude of the speaker or hearer or listener, whoever it is. So each one of them, if they have the right attitude, then there is purification. If there is no right attitude, then some sort of purification will occur, obviously, but it will not be the desired effect. Desired effect will not occur so much. Okay, so yeah, I think today probably we will have to stop with this verse because yeah, I started late, so we have finished 2 verses. Next session we will talk about Bhagavad Avatar Katha, the context of Krishna's appearance. Fine, Prabhupada. Prabhupada talks about Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jidnyasuho Shreya Uttamam. So here, just as Parikshit is inquiring from Shukadev, and Shukadev is appreciating that. So Prabhupada is saying one must surrender to such a guru who can give right information, like that. So he's highlighting that aspect of inquiry. Tad vidde pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya tasmad gurum prapadyeta jidnyasu shreya uttamam. Jidnyasa, that's what. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a record of such activities, and the Bhagavad Gita is the record of Vasudeva speaking personally. So therefore, since the Krishna conscious movement is full of Vasudeva Katha, anyone who hears, anyone who joins the movement, and anyone who preaches will be purified. So Prabhupada is also connecting it to our own movement. Hearing, joining the movement, preaching, everyone will be purified because this institution is only for Vasudeva Katha, right? Primarily for that purpose. This way. So that's why Wonderful inquiries are most encouraged, and they will benefit everyone. Vasudev Katha Prashna. Okay, I think yeah, it is 9:10, 9:11. So I think we can pause here for today. In the next session, we will continue. Hare Krishna. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So those of you who need to go, please go ahead. We are stopping this session today here. If you have questions, you may stay back and ask. Okay. Is there any question on what we discussed today? Just two verses we discussed today, but anything pertaining to that? Okay, if there are no questions, then I think we will stop here today. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.